this next group of items we're going to look at is more the stuff you would do if you had a big crowd, a big audience, and it's definitely more comedy driven. He's looking to get a laugh as much as he's trying to get the astonishment when he's doing these items. So this would probably be the thing you saw him do if you saw him at a convention show and it was the big show for everybody. These are the sort of items he would have done in that sort of show. So a little bit different than last time, but definitely the same sort of slant and, you know, mind reading and so forth.
All right. Pretty exciting stuff. Let me see. I'm just checking. Oh, look at this. Pretty exciting. This first trick, I'm not going to say its name because sometimes some tricks, you say the name and you spoil a lot of what happens. You know what I mean? It's that old, when your friend says, show my wife that thing where you turn the ones into the 100s. And you're just like so sad. And you look at your friend like, you did that. And then they go, this first one's got a name like that, you know? So I don't want to.
Do the one where the silk disappears in the thumb tip.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
All right, here we go. This is our first.
There's titles in the actual.
I know.
I tried to edit them out, but in this one, they put it in there pretty far so that you can't see it without seeing a title in there, unfortunately.
That's on them, you know.
That's on
them.
Everybody,
these are mistitled. So whenever you do like a noun and a verb and another noun, it's just made up. Maybe it's cigarette to bill.
That's right. Can't hear it, Adam.
Not yet, but I want to.
All right. Well, I obviously, did it again. What can I say? Here, let's start it over. This is all going to be solved today. I'm getting my new monitor in, so I will have 2 monitors, and this will not happen. All right, here we go. Let's see if this works. Can you hear it?
I must make a confession. I do a trick tonight, the first time. And that is a trick with money. With your money. It's too dangerous to do with mine. I asked the nice gentleman there, do you have a $1,000 bill on you? No, I don't. Okay, no money, no love. You have a $5 perhaps?
I might.
Well, you can't look. Oh, ma'am has the money, huh?
I should have known.
Thanks a lot. Beautiful. You want the receipt? Don't laugh. It's too late anyway. That nothing can happen. You have for all the time a souvenir of your bill. Jack and Jill went up the hill to get a pail of water. Jill forgot to take the pill. Now she's got a little dot. And everything what's left over from your $5 bill, we put in this simple Japanese envelope. You see? No many poo dingsbums also. Has somebody a cigarette on you? Oh, that's nice. Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Receipt.
Receipt.
You don't mind that I smoke your cigarette, no?
No, I don't mind.
Oh, thank you. Hashish. I tell you what should happen. I tell you what should happen if the trick works tonight. Your bill, or what is left over from it, should travel from this little envelope into my hand with the help of your cigarette, the smoke of it. I try. Nothing. I told you I do the trick the first time. Second time. Nothing. Relax, relax, relax. Third time. Nothing at all. Then it can't be the smoke. It must be your but is it Camel, right? Mm-hmm. But you hold that a little bit higher. Thank you. I break the cigarette apart like this. And what we find inside is really incredible.
Oh, no way.
It's really incredible. A little piece of paper, as you can see.
Yeah.
Made out of, thank you, out of a $5 bill, and there is a corner missing.
Oh my gosh.
By the way, every bill in the world has only one number. You have the corner with the number, sir. I have an L 454785008F.
Exactly.
Bingo! Same number. May I give it back to you like this? Thanks a lot. No. The lady at the back, she's concerned about the envelope. She wants to know what's inside. And I tell you what's inside. It's very easy. There is inside the tobacco of your cigarette and a piece of Scotch tape that you can fix your bill, but that you can do by yourself. That works without magic. Thank you so much. Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Yeah. Pretty strong. Do you guys...
Really interesting. Sorry. Yes.
I was going to say, do you guys, does it bother you at all how often Ted just casually puts his hands in his pockets? And like, it doesn't seem to bother the audience at all, but we as magicians, we're like keenly aware of that kind of thing. Like, you know, did you notice it much, or did it bother you at all?
It's a great question. I personally, it didn't bother me much, but you know, I think sometimes when you're a regular person, sometimes when we're good, we can watch like a regular person, feel like being entertained. Other times you watch like a magician and you're almost always choosing a certain overlay and watching it that way. And it leaves all kinds of stuff that is not being sort of absorbed when you're watching with a certain set of blinders on. So I wasn't focused on that at all. Is he putting his hands in his pockets like with no particular justification, just hanging out there?
Well, it was not, well, he did it a couple times in that routine, but specifically in last week or last show when we were watching, he was doing it a lot randomly during some of the other tricks. So, you know, I just saw it again today and I thought it just struck me to mention it. I didn't know if anybody had ever out there in chat, if had anybody else noticed that at all, or just fine. Yeah. So
well, I'm saying just putting it in to hang out, like literally just, you know, hanging out. Talking to the audience, that kind of putting it in for no reason.
Yeah, like just
probably you need something else in there or something like that.
Right. No, not like going in to get something. Just his hand. You know, he's just talking and his hand goes in his pocket and you know comes back out and whatever. You know, I don't know if there's if he's actually getting anything. I'm just saying it, or if it's.
I think that there are moments where he does use that as a method, but it's probably what you noticed, him hanging out, just gesturing, hanging out with the hand in the pocket. It probably is just a disarming thing, right? To let everybody just be at ease with him hanging out and gesturing by putting a hand in a pocket. So when it's time to use it for a method, it probably doesn't get noticed so much, you know? To me, I'm looking at it from the point of view of trying to see it as like, what's the show? And as long as that stuff doesn't get overt, I don't really notice it. I notice when he puts his hands in his pockets, but unless it's like overt and like, hey, you did something sneaky there, buddy. Like it's flying by. It doesn't feel like out of sorts to me at all at this point. But I'll be on the lookout now.
One thing that's interesting about this Ted Lesley, for sure, like I remember really obsessing about how to make stuff disappear, whatever it is. Like if you want to make a ring disappear, we talked about a ring last night. We don't like to borrow rings and make them disappear, but we've seen bad things happen to good rings. But whether it's a coin, the coin's disappearing, going somewhere it shouldn't be, wherever it is, like a lot of that stuff comes down to either how good the vanish is, how convincing the vanish is. A transformation, as in this trick, is a great way of making a vanish, or how you get around that moment being important, right? Now, Ted Lesley, he gets a lot of done with these envelopes. Have you guys noticed? He's got magic envelopes. And one of the cool things about that book is these utility envelopes. You know, you put something in an envelope, you close the envelope, and then when you rip the envelope open, you know, it's real clean looking, and you can vanish, appear, and change stuff with it. Yeah.
I think that this is probably similar to the hand in the pocket thing, because that envelope was just an envelope that he switched in his pocket when he put it in and pulled it out. So because that other stuff exists, they all sort of mesh into, he just uses envelopes, right? You don't know what he's doing with the envelopes, but those envelopes definitely have magic stuff happen to him, right?
Well, that's crazy, because what I was literally one of the questions I had about this trick is, you know, he's got changeroo envelopes, right? Alex just told us he didn't use it there, but it looked just like he did. It looks the same. So I just wonder, it's really interesting what I was thinking, because I assumed it was using the same magical envelope, is that if I was going to take something and do that trick, traditionally, often in a good way, the first thing you would do would be to rip open the envelope and transform the thing that is supposed to be in it to the thing that's inside the cigarette. And it's weird and surprising. And what is that? It's tobacco. And if the tobacco is here, hey, I mean, that's, you know, how we often think about that kind of trick working. Did you guys notice that? He did the other direction.
Yeah.
Do you like that idea? Because I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I almost think though, like, I almost think the having the tobacco was unimportant to the effect. I mean, the effect is so strong. That's a strong effect, especially with the fact the bill matches with the receipt and all that. It's like, I wasn't thinking, well, where'd the tobacco go? So that's one of those things, like, I think magicians tend to want to add details like that.
I don't think in my mind, the whole notion of using that kind of transposition isn't because anyone's wondering where the tobacco is. It's because you can get something out of the vanish that it's not a bare. Lots of times, just simple vanishes, you got a hanky, you're doing something to make this thing disappear real clean. And it's a lot of stuff. But when you change the thing into another thing, it's easier to make magical and good looking. I mean, that's, I think, where that would come from.
It feels like it was a magical exclamation point, right? It was like, and in the envelope, your bill is gone, and in its place, tobacco, and here's some tape. You can tape your bill back together, right? It was like an exclamation point with one final laugh to finish the trick.
Yeah. Yeah.
He definitely did it as a blow off, and I hadn't seen it like that before. It's definitely going left where everyone else went right, or vice versa.
So we haven't seen Ted do any coin magic yet. We've seen him do cards. We've seen him do mentalism. Is there some good coin magic we could watch from Ted?
There is, but it's not like what you're thinking. It's coin magic in a very straightforward way. It's very good. I love this thing, and it sort of has like a little kicker thing that you don't see coming. It's really good.
All right, let's check it out. Let me know about the sound again. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Friends from magicians, and you know, we have signed a pledge that we never reveal how a trick is done. But tonight, I make a difference and show you all how a trick is done. First of all, you have to come to your beautiful country and look for such a silver dollar. And when you want that to vanish, you need that what I have. Tight cuffs, very wide arms, and then inside here. That's all. If you do it like this, everybody will know how it's done. So you have to do it with a manipulation. And that looks like this. Has nothing to do with Austria. And now you have to stand for about 3 hours this way, because if you drop the arm, the coin will fall out. And for that reason, you have to do something else. You have to bring the coin from here to here, when nobody is looking, and that you do this way. And now I'm looking like the hunchback of Notre Dame on a bad day. You have to do only this. Now it's on your shoulder. That was not difficult. It comes much more difficult. I will show you that. in a minute, you take a wine glass like I have, and then kiss me once, and kiss me twice, and kiss me evermore. Yeah. The day before yesterday was the crazy house with crazy people. And
Stop.
they said the thing with the coin was beautiful.
He's definitely just hanging out with his hand in his pocket.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, he is.
And he was doing it a good long while.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed it the other day. He does it quite a bit.
Beautiful. But can you do that with liquids as well? So you take a liquid which is very visible.
And you see how in that instance, like that's what I meant, I guess. So it was just, anyway, you know what I'm saying.
You're saying it was convenient that magic started to happen after he was hanging out casually with his hands. Is that what you're implying?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like in that particular instance, right? Like that particular instance, his hand did go in his pocket for quite a while, and then he does this movement over here. I don't know what he's about to do, but he didn't, he didn't like come out with an item. He wasn't like, I'm going to go into my pocket, pull out something. So I don't know. It's just, it's a little weird to me.
I did think when he was like, but could I do something with liquid? I thought, well, I bet now you can. Bag of goldfish in your pocket. I don't know.
Milk, in English, cow squeezings.
Let me go back just
English
a little bit, okay?
So you take a liquid which is very visible. Milk, in English, cow squeezings. How you keep the milk away from getting sour, madam? Right, keep it in the cow. And then you have to make a tight fist, very tight, or it will drop down. And then you pour that. And if I throw that into my sleeve by now, then my jacket is not from C&A, from Cheap and Awful anymore. Because then I can throw it away. For that reason, you have to compress the milk like this, put it in that sleeve like this, kiss me one and kiss me twice. And that's it.
That's a pretty great effect.
Yeah. Milk. So let's just break that down for a minute, okay? I think that first effect is pretty stellar, and you can get a lot. I mean, really, anyone watching this right now can get a lot, can learn a lot from that. That's one sleight. I mean, that's one sleight to effect to be able to do that. And did you see the audience's reaction? I was actually surprised because sometimes we watch things and they're really simple, but they get big reactions. And of course, that's a lesson I've got to constantly remind myself of my entire life, is that simple is good. Simple is really good. And that first effect was very simple.
And very easy to understand. If you're a layman, you've probably seen magicians, and he's playing up to all of those stereotypes that you think a magician would use, right? It's in the sleeve, and he's cheating with the sleeve, and he's showing you how that could he's possibly letting you in on this secret, and he gets it over to the other hand and it goes through. All of that seemed like that would be really how you would do it if you were going to do that trick for a layman. It seemed, I think it was a great hook, and it's a good enough hook that, like, you're watching that, and now he's got the milk, and what are you doing? And then at the end, you see, he's making it go across like the coin. It's like a big full circle. I think that's a pretty great little piece there. And to be fair to Ted, I don't think most laymen are going to notice that hanging out in the pocket like that. I mean, we have a discerning eye, and we've been watching video of this guy. And to be fair to Ted, again, you had to rewind to catch what was going on there. I think most laymen are not going to notice any of that, is my point. I think that pocket stuff that's a magician looking extra careful. Us as magicians, we know about methods, we know about stuff. But I think if general laymen were to see Ted off the bat and see him do that trick, I don't think they would notice any of that stuff at all, honestly.
Yeah. That's a good point too, Steve. How do you know a genuine response from an L&L audience? I wonder. I feel like that. Do you feel like all those people in that room were magicians? Because
no, the way they do it, the problem is that a lot of those audience members have seen a lot of magic, and I don't think that they're true laymen. A lot of those people are, well, it's like a magician wife. You know, that's not a layman. A magician's wife is an educated layman. They know a lot of methods because they watched a lot of methods get worked out, right? I think that a lot of these L&L folks that are in the audience, they've seen enough magic, they've seen enough plots, they know that there's similar things, and you know, they're playing along for sure. But the other side of the room, they're showing one side of the room that's all of the laymen, and the other side of the room is all the magicians, and they never put them on camera. So there's another side of the audience in L&L that you never see, which is the magicians. When you hear them go, when it's a magic joke, it's coming from that side of the room. Yeah. The other side of the room is basically all of Lou's friends and folks that wanted to see magic that lived in the Tahoe area. And they'd come up and hang out for a day and watch, you know, an international famous magician do their stuff, and they'd shoot it for the day. And yeah, some of those reactions are stilted, but I don't think that they're so stilted that you don't get the point, you know. And that was sort of what you're getting out of those videos when you were buying those videos. It was just enough to get the idea of what you're in for if you were to learn this thing and then put it into the world and start performing it. I think that's like a baseline of what you're going to expect from these pieces of material when you actually start doing them. So I don't think they're so far out of whack that a lot of magicians say about these L&L audiences. I don't think they're so far out of whack that it's like not in reality. It's just a little bit more over the top than it should be. And if you're shooting videos, probably a good thing.
You know, I just think it's clear. We're watching these videos. It's a little bit like magic porn. We're a bunch of magic guys. I mean, I think this is the relationship sounding. Magic guys. It's kind of difficult to be talking about having reaction to magic without just essentially talking. And so I think it's important because, you know, we've got some lovely magic we're watching, and we're sitting here doing basically color and commentary about this magic. And, you know, I honestly just got to say, if this was real life, I wouldn't say any of these things. I'd just be watching the magic.
Right.
But we're doing a reaction video. Well, you know, we're doing this whole thing. So I think it's a tricky thing for us as magic lovers and magicians to know what to be reacting to in any particular situation. You know, sometimes we're watching something like yesterday, we were seeing Ted do this thing with the card out of the deck, thought up card, and someone started to hypothesize about the method. And I found myself getting like really, you know, unhappy. Like I felt like there was a really good piece of magic happening, and you know, it's tough. And so I'm not entirely sure exactly where the line is on these things all the time. It's tricky, right? Like, what are we supposed to do? I
think we find it every time we talk. I mean, because the reality is we're talking about the things that we notice as, you know, experienced folks looking at magic stuff. So it's whatever we notice at the time. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, but simultaneously, no one's picking on Ted when we're talking about his hand in his pocket.
Oh, absolutely.
The radio show here. I mean, Ed says, and this isn't really helpful, I don't know if people know this, but when you watch these L&L videotapes, it's always the same cast of characters. You see the same 5 guys over and over again. They always respond equally to every joke as though it's the funniest joke anyone ever heard. It never gets old, and it's a source of some amusement for magic guys because they know that. But at the same time, when we're watching these tapes, we adjust for that. We've seen those guys 1,000 times, and I think, you know, it's important. It's like a laugh track. It's like a laugh track when you're watching a sitcom. They don't put those in there because they weren't helping.
Right. Yeah. You know, I was thinking that we've been watching a lot of Ted Lesley small routines, small clips, really short clips, you know. So when you picked this out, Alex, I was glad, because this next thing we're going to watch is actually a whole act. This is a segment that you could do on the Johnny Carson show or whatever. This is Ted's comedy mind reading segment, and it's not just one trick. It's a whole
several spectators, and, you know, several ways of getting to the punchline, and it doesn't always go directly in a straight line to where he's going. There's some comedy, there's some twists and turns, and a little bit of fun.
Yeah, I think this will show you some insight into the way that Ted thinks, and I'm really loving. I really do really love Ted's thinking and his routines. I mean, I might be nitpicking on little things, but overall, I think he's pretty brilliant.
Hey, by the way, before we get into that, just a quick nod to that Bill and the cigarette routine. That's a whole system that Ted has for having that torn corner thing. It looks like he legitimately tears that bill and gives them half the bill. That's a whole way of thinking that Ted has about this stuff. And he gets bills like inside of light bulbs and a light fixture, you know, obviously for Bill and Lemon, you know, on down the line. It's a very clean way to have a borrowed bill go to an impossible location. If you're interested in that plot with the bill, I think Ted has probably one of the most workable methods with it being like a torn piece of the bill rather than a corner. It's actually half of the bill and it's that serial number and that whole thing. So for those that are interested in that, go look into that, because that's really, I think, a really high level method for doing that kind of work. It's really good, really smart thinking there.
I'm gonna see if I can find that, look that up. It's a harvest time, right?
Yeah.
So it's a good time of year to pick fresh knits.
That one, and to be fair, that one might not be in Paramiracles. That might be a standalone manuscript on torn bills that Ted did, if I remember correctly. I have to go and look at my notes, but that's the way I remember it.
So for those of you that got the coveted book, paid the coveted fee, found the coveted book, now you know there was a manuscript that slipped through your fingers. You did not get the secret.
At least just not that
most
one.
Of them. Not most of them, but not the one that matters now.
That's not the one that it's not the method with the sequential numbers, though, is it, Alex?
No,
okay,
it's not. It is
good,
not.
Good.
No, it's pretty great, man. It you have to do some preparation. There's some work that has to be done pre-show for that to work, right? And you have to build a tool to do it. He does talk about it in it must be in Paramiracles, because I think he has it in the explanation for this. So if not, it's in one of these DVDs, right?
I will say one thing that's super exciting about watching these. This is kind of one of the best things about this whole series that we do, for me, that I enjoy the most, is because they're not explanation oriented, because we're just watching the thing. Even though most of these things would be seen by me and my magic brethren when we were thinking about how to do it, and if we wanted to do it, and if we were going to learn it, not learn it, get it together, not. It's kind of fun not to think about that stuff at all while you're watching. It's kind of fun. Like, I don't care if he had to prepare that card stab for like 5 hours, because I'm not shopping for a card stab. I'm literally just watching his trick. And it's really kind of wonderful to feel that layer of it vanish, you know? And you realize that you haven't hardly ever looked at a trick without thinking, oh man, what a mess that makes. Or, oh man, how many times can I do that before I have to build a new one?
It's really a liberating way to look at magic, just to watch and be a spectator and just entertain yourself. What's the effect? What happened here? And just let it sink in and just appreciate the art for the art, and then make choices later. Because the reality is you might see Ted do this bill in the cigarette and you go, you know, I love the presentation, I just don't like that method. And you find some other method and you take that presentation. You know, all these things inform everything else in magic. And it's, you know, it's definitely a better way to go about things. Just having an open mind and being able to enjoy things first, and not like looking at things like a shark, like, how's that going to taste later when I chop it up and eat it? You know, it's just right. A better way to go about life.
That's what I do a lot too. I do that a lot.
That is precisely it. Oh, sorry. You do that? That's what you do. You go, well, I can't do it, so I don't want it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no. I'm often like a shark. Like, that's what he's like. I'm just there to like consume it and try to figure it out and, you know, puzzle it most of the time.
Where would this sit in my act if I was going to do it? It would probably be like the third trick in my act, and, you know, all that stuff. It's just like,
it's like watching a trick and being like, you know, you be at Magic Castle, there's like a row of dudes sitting in the back row like this.
Right. Yeah.
You know this, Adam. That's how you tell the musicians that when you play in a nightclub, it's all the guys standing in the back of the room with their arms crossed going, impress me.
What is it? What are they saying?
Impress me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no good.
Well, and at the castle, at least, there was always that mixture. You know, there was the there was the magicians, but there was also the lay audience. So at least at the castle, like on a Monday night, it was a very different show than a Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
I'd say the L&L audience, it's similar to that in a way, working at the castle, you know, but you did still get a lot of great lay audiences there. I'm sure you still do.
I'm sure you still do too. Yeah, that's one of the things about the castle is that it's got that whole thing going on for it, right? That invitation only. It's a special experience. People celebrate it like I actually got to go to the castle, and most people get to go once or twice in their life if they're a layman, right? And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the LA area, and that keeps it pretty special and exclusive. I love it.
All right. So sorry about the tangent, guys. I got us off course, but this is Ted Lesley's comedy Mind Reading. You get to see the full act. We might stop and discuss it a bit, but we'll try to just let you enjoy it. Okay, let me make sure you can see it.
We start an experiment in mind reading.
You can hear it.
Mind over matter.
You can hear it?
If you don't mind,
Yes.
I don't matter. For this reason, I brought a deck of cards with me. 54. You count with me? Correct? Computer. And each and every card is different. I come to you, have a few cards chosen, and then we will see what we can do about that. You play cards, ma'am?
Yes, I do.
Will you kindly open the deck at any point you want, somewhere in the shtiddle, middle, like this, like a book. Where you want. Thanks a lot. You had better open it at another spot. Look at the card and remember it well. Second card. You play cards as well?
Yes.
Open the deck at any point you want. Somewhere in the middle. Oh, take this card, please. Remember your card well. And now the nice time. You have still the scissors? Yes, you have them. Keep them there. Keep them there. We need them again. And now for you, the third card. Open the deck at any point you want. Thanks a lot. Take this card, please. Look at the card and remember it well. Okay? I don't look. You showed it to the audience. There. Okay. Put it back into the deck, where you want. Put it back. The man with the soft hands.
Oh, okay. I see
Beautiful.
how you are.
And you will kindly shuffle the deck for me. Thank you so much. Expert. You'll do it one more. Makes more time. I show you how I shuffle. Hopefully, the new deck. We took that underneath with one hand like this. With two hands like this. You don't know that?
No.
And with three hands, it's impossible. So the special shuffle, magicians call that Pharaoh shuffle. Nobody knows why, but they tell it. And believe it or believe it not, I can shuffle this way as well. And now, mind reading. Madam, look into my eyes. Oh, sorry. I find your card immediately. Your card was, I have it. I have it. The Four of Spades.
Nope.
Out. You know, that is an experiment, I told you. You know the difference between a trick and an experiment. A trick works. And if one card is wrong, that doesn't really matter, because in parapsychological things is that outstanding when I find the other two cards. You had the second card, madam, right?
Yes,
Your card was, now it's right. Here it is, a little complicated. The King of Clubs. And my next trick is a rope trick. The one-handed knot. The invisible knot. Oh, by the way, which card did you have?
3 of hearts. Oh my god.
Oh no.
You are sure? Second card.
Jack of hearts.
Yeah, not, you don't tell me it's too early, but it doesn't matter. Take the wine glass at the stem, please. Thank you. Hold it a little bit straight, thank you. And think on your card again. Beautiful. One card comes out, which is... Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. You have forgotten you, huh?
Yes, you have. I was wondering that.
We start the same thing as with the lady, except the glass. So we do it freely, okay? Take the fan like this and concentrate. Concentrate on your card, and your card will rise up mysteriously. We are waiting.
That's right.
He cannot concentrate. I brought a concentration aid. We have tomorrow shish kebab in the house.
Whoa.
If I count to 3, you throw all the cards against the ceiling here above me, okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Oh no!
Just a moment. Which card did you select?
It was the Ace of Spades.
The Ace of Spades.
Yes.
Yeah, what for the heck you think I have? Thank you so very much. Oh! Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I love a card sword. I
Me
have
too,
memories of seeing a card sword when I was like a kid. It's like the first trick I ever saw, and I just thought it was amazing. You know, you guys like card swords?
I do like a card sword, and I think that's one of the better ways I've seen someone do a card sword, pinning it up against the ceiling like that. That's perfect. It looks real. I've seen people do it and it looks bad too, but that looked great. I thought that was a great card sword.
Yeah, I always wanted that card swords, Aaron. When I was a kid, I wanted that prop so bad.
I'm kind of a little surprised that in all those years doing magic, I never just like did one.
And they weren't cheap. I mean, there was one that like there was a really professional made one, but it was like $1,000. Like,
oh man,
Wow.
yeah. Then
that's horrifying.
And you know, and people like Johnny Thompson have got work on how to do it without needing to buy an expensive prop like that. So, you know, at
Doc
the end of the
Hilford
day,
does too. Doc Hilford has a method with just a regular sword that's really awesome. But I love the gaff sword. I think it's so cool, and you know, it just looks like magic when you have that thing just pop on the end of the sword and you don't do anything. It's as good as it gets for card tricks, for a card revelation. That's really awesome.
Yeah, it's like one of the tricks I remember making me like magic in the first place, like years before I ever wanted to do any magic. I just remember being like 8 years old and seeing some Mark Wilson illusion show at Busch Gardens or something, and seeing a card sword, and just, man, that was great. And I like that trick with the rope too, right?
I think Rich Murata was famous for that with that lasso card trick, right? It's really that's a cool thing, man.
It is cool, and the method on it is really devious. Like, yeah, totally devious. And you know, it's I don't. Did anybody notice that? I mean, he had all 3 cards selected from one deck, but then he basically revealed all 3 cards from 3 separate decks.
Totally.
And I wonder who really cared about that. Like,
no one.
After
that Devano deck, I mean, probably even after the lasso card, right? When that Devano deck happens and that thing's rising in the glass, I remember when I saw that trick the first time, I had no idea what the method was. And when I felt that trick, like, time stopped. And the guy did it like this for me. I bought it in a dealer's room at a convention, and the guy did it like this. Hold your hand out like this, and he put the cards like this. And I watched the card rise out while I'm holding them in my hand. Time froze. Time stopped, and I went, whoa. It was the first day of the Magic convention. If this is what the convention's going to be like, this is going to be awesome, right? I was like, yeah, here's my $20 or $15 or whatever it was for that deck of cards, you know? I was sold. If that woman even had an inkling of what I felt while she was holding that glass, no one noticed any decks were being in different places and it was switching and blah, 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 blah. That effect is so stellar. And when it's happening in your hand, it stops you in your tracks, man. It's such a great effect.